biggest threat to Airbnbs is regulations and zoning. Like a lot of the times you might see these ridiculous numbers and you're like, oh my God, this is a killer market. And then you search all of a sudden and like they're just like, yeah, we don't even allow short-term rentals in the area. So Michael and I were messaging over the weekend and kind of just talking a little bit about a potential Airbnb area to invest in and the fact that the houses were so cheap, but you could also have a lot of revenue coming out of these houses if you could remodel them, which makes for a very interesting Airbnb market. To put that in perspective, up in the Port St. Lake Lexington area where I'm located at, we just bought a house for $85,000. We'll put about $40,000 into it. That'll include golf cart, hot tub, stainless steel appliances, completely remodeled. We'll be all in for what is that? Probably like $130. We'll be all in, and we'll be pushing probably $40,000 to $50,000 in revenue, which is absurd returns when you think about that in terms of real estate and cash flow. You may not be getting as much as forced appreciation as you'd like, but you're getting a lot of cash flow. And Michael and I were kind of talking. It sounds like you might have found another market like this that could potentially be even better, Michael, from what me and you were just talking about. So I thought today would be a kind of awesome group think session for us just to kind of look at this market and just kind of speak out loud. Like, is this something that we would go visit? Would you rent here? What would you want? What amenities would you want if you were going to rent here? So given that kind of intro, Michael, why don't you just you want to kind of just tell everybody the market and kind of maybe some more initial thoughts and how you kind of came across this?
Yeah, so Houghton Lake, Michigan, middle of the state, right just south of Higgins Lake there. So you have a lot of lake stuff. And then along with the middle of the state, we had a cottage in Port St. Lake for 15 years. And obviously in the winter, there's nothing going on. Population in Port St. Lake goes from a few thousand to like 500, I think, full-time residents. So it's a fucking ghost town to where it really limits your winter market. I was thinking, okay, if you're in the middle of the state, though, you have ORV trails within a few miles of Houghton Lake. You also have all the summertime amenities of the lake right there. So looking at some of the house prices, there was one that was 85,000. I think the other one was 145,000. So I sent the one, the 145. It was a 4-bedroom, 2-bath, 2,400 square feet ish. And it was an Airbnb before they cleared it out and they have it up on the market. It's been on the market for a year. Not sure why it's been up there for a year, if it's just a very slow selling market or if there's something wrong with the house. The other house in that same area for 85 is 4-bedroom, 2-bath, 1,800 square feet. That one wasn't on Airbnb. It's also been on the market for about a year as well. So my logic is, if the numbers look good, Airbnb numbers look good, revenue's there. Obviously, being a lake town, you're going to have most of your income or revenue coming in the summer months. So if you were to buy the property now, close in about a month, you're looking at early March. You get it ready, and let's say it takes you a month to get it ready. You're looking at April, May timeframe. Hopefully you get some renters in there, or at least get it up on Airbnb pretty quick. You could see some pretty good revenue numbers throughout the summer, assuming everything gets kicked off pretty quickly. So with wanting to get into Airbnb, I figured this might be a decent market looking at the house prices.
Yeah. I mean, and that's the one thing, Michael. And so, guys, when we talk about Airbnb markets, the biggest threat to Airbnbs is regulations and zoning. Like a lot of the times you might see these ridiculous numbers and you're like, oh my God, this is a killer market. And then you search all of a sudden and like they're just like, yeah, we don't even allow short-term rentals in the area, which sucks because it basically kills the entire market. And Michael, did you get the chance to kind of dig into that a little bit?
I'm trying to look it up right now. From looking at Airbnb, though, there's other houses, short-term rentals available. So I'd have to look into that more.
Also, I'm going to share my screen on this. But basically, these are the two homes you were talking about, right, Michael?
Oh, I guess that one just sold. So that's one of them. Home Snap must not be updated. Let's see.
Because this one sold like last year in 20. For 50 grand.
Sold for 50. It looks like they did update, so they probably came through, got an Airbnb ready. Floors, walls, kitchen. It looks like it pretty much just needs furniture at this point. If it's still on the market, I guess.
Is anybody familiar with Houghton Lake here?
I'm familiar with Higgins. My grandpa lived off of Higgins Lake, and like Mike was saying, that place pops in the wintertime. Like there's snowmobiles flying everywhere on the gas stations. Like the ORVs are packed. Like it's a busy place. Like it's not a ghost town like you would think in the middle of Michigan.
Yeah, I've only been to Houghton Lake once, and it was, I mean, just about as packed as Higgins. I mean, I was there during the summer. I didn't see winter, but I'm pretty sure, like right around where your mouse is right now, there are trails.
Okay.
Yeah, down just south of town there's ORV starting areas, I guess you can say, with trails connecting all over. So
Oh yeah, ORV Trailhead.
yeah, so my logic is okay, you're located right in downtown Houghton Lake area right there. You're a few miles from ORV trails, whether it's a side-by-side ATV in the summer or snowmobiles in the winter. If you're more of a boater, you can have your boat in the driveway, drop it into the lake, and take advantage of that during the summer. So it's more of a year-round market compared to other like in the thumb.
Yeah, that makes sense. And I see why you're interested. And two, so who doesn't know who doesn't know much about short-term rentals here? Does anybody like have no idea like what those are or anything like that?
I know what they are, but I just don't have much experience with them.
Great, because we're gonna teach you because short-term rentals are killer.
Hell yeah.
But yeah, honestly, I mean, so with short-term rentals, kind of the basics here, and this is what we've kind of built our business on, and it's worked extremely well for us, is that you can make good money by being an average short-term rental, right? But the thing is you don't want to be average if you're doing real estate full-time. You want to be in the top 10% of short-term rentals out there. And the theory for that is because once you get into the top 10%, and when I say top 10%, I mean quality, right? They don't want to go on vacation and stay at a place that's not as nice as their home. They want to go somewhere where they feel like they're, I don't want to say rich, but they feel like they're rich for the weekend. They're living in a place that has all the amenities, is very well done, is updated, beautiful kitchens, beautiful flooring, all that kind of good stuff. They want to go someplace and experience that for a weekend, right? I don't know about you guys, but I don't like staying in motels for the weekend, even though they're significantly cheaper. I want to go to a Marriott and experience the high class life. And the whole thought process behind that is you're not trying to hit those price conscious guests. You're trying to focus on those quality conscious guests, which in return is going to yield a higher return. Which is why, Michael, I mean, I would say that that reasoning is probably why you identified these two properties, right? Because when we look at them, I mean, shoot, they're nice. They have gray flooring throughout. They're updated but cute on the inside, clean.
They're borderline move-in ready. Obviously, you need furniture. You're going to need some updates here and there. And I'm not opposed to working on a project. Of course, a 2-hour drive up to the place or 2.5 for me. You'd have to be there for a long weekend to make your renovations, which is totally doable over the next month or so. My biggest thing though is, okay, if I'm bringing a trailer, like if I were to take my boat or jet skis or whatever I want to a destination like this, I'm hoping to find a house with whether it's a single car garage or a 2-car garage. So if they're really concerned about the toys they have, they can pull it into the garage overnight, which gets to your whole point of a hotel could be cheaper if there's hotels in this area. But the benefit of, okay, you're at a house, you have your own private land to park your shit on. If you have a garage, you can park your shit in the garage, so it's more secure there. And then you have your amenities inside the place. That's nicer than your average, whether it's their home or a hotel. Because I know damn right Houghton Lake and Higgins Lake isn't going to have a fucking Marriott there.
Does that kind of Connor and Jackass? I gotta figure out how to split. You guys are both Jackass too. Oh my god, that's awful.
Maybe just call him by my last name, Sorensen. That works.
You can call me Jackass. I prefer
Jack.
Jacket. Yeah.
What about like little bitch? Can I call you little bitch?
You can call me Sheila. You just got to take me out to dinner.
That's the other thing about this group, guys, is it's like, have fun with it. Don't be afraid to tell each other, piss off if somebody has a bad idea. I'm joking, but no, like, have fun with the group. That's the whole point of it. So I mean, just kind of like thinking out loud here, does that kind of make sense to everybody? Why you want to be in that top 10% of Airbnbs? Why you don't want to be considered average?
100%.
So just thinking out loud here. So we kind of, if we're thinking here, we've found a good market that has an attraction in the summer, because Michigan's very seasonal, right? So you need something in the summer, which is typically a lake in Michigan. Houghton Lake. You're not all the way up in the UP. You're a reasonable drive for the majority of people. If you're in Detroit, it's probably how far is that, Michael? You're kind of near there, right?
From Oxford, so about half an hour north of Detroit. I'm looking at about 2.5 hours. So I would say you're about three-ish up there, depending on traffic.
So you're 3 hours away, which is completely reasonable. You've got a state forest in the area. You've got trailheads. You have ORV heads that we already determined. There's a lot of good benefits going for us in this area. Let me go back to this. I can't click. I hate this thing sometimes. Let me go back. Here we go. Where's like the downtown?
I think it's up more. Yeah, like right there, Houghton, or shit. I think it's right there. See the boat rental?
Yeah, right here.
The boat rental, the green lower. Nope, go down.
This one?
Yeah, like over there. I think somewhere in there. It seems like you have a lot of the stores in that area.
They have mini
Oh,
golf.
it might not have a downtown, kind of like your. Port Sanilac has a small downtown. It depends what you call downtown.
Yeah, that's fair. Well, more or less just like, where are people going to go and hang out, right? I mean, you have a golf. That's good for kids. Looks like they have a little haunted museum or something. A big attraction is bars. People love to come up and just get hammered all weekend. So that's definitely something to keep in mind. Is there some cool bars in the area? Just kind of places you can advertise. So that's more what I was looking for. But is there some decent restaurants and stuff in the area?
No idea.
So, well, we can assume that there is, or look and see what we find. There's McDonald's. That's how you know it's high class. Let's try like here. It's not looking good for a downtown, isn't it?
When we went, there wasn't a whole lot to do outside of boating or going down to the trails.
So I'd definitely put that as a con. Pros, lake nearby, trails, RV. I would put this as not completely seasonal too, which is a big benefit in Michigan. Like Port Sanilac, guys, if you're not familiar over by Lake Huron, like there's literally nothing to do in the winter. It is just farmland. Like the only thing The only thing you do when you go up there is you go get hammered, which is why we put a hot tub in to at least have some type of draw, I guess. But I would say so far, what do you guys think? Does anybody have any more pros or cons that we can kind of think of off the top of our heads?
One of the pros is, I mean, it's basically the substitute for Higgins Lake. It's not as crowded. So you get more like actual space in the water and on the trails.
Okay, so maybe a little bit less popular, which isn't always a bad thing. Can anybody think of any cons so far? I mean, what would be kind of your cons here?
I
Maybe
would say
campgrounds.
Oh, go ahead, Connor.
Maybe campgrounds. Close to a campground, maybe.
For a con,
Yeah.
I like that because that's probably taking away from some of our demand, right? Yeah, they're going to campgrounds, so that's a good one. So maybe close to campground / competition. Because up in Port Sound, like you don't have a choice but to stay in an Airbnb. There's a couple campgrounds, but nothing like in the town.
Right.
Andrew, did you have something? Was that you?
Yeah, I would just say, I mean, you can look at obviously seclusion as a pro depending on who you are. But I just feel like when a lot of people think of lake life, especially when you don't live on one, like you're just assuming like you're going to go there and you have like all these pontoons lined up at a sandbar, everybody's getting wasted. And I just feel like Houghton Lake is like not that. I've always just seen Houghton Lake as like the older demographic. Same with Higgins. Like it's kind of an older demographic, so it's not like your party lake, I guess you could say. I relate to that really well because I live on an old person lake and there's just nothing. It's just dead after like 5 o'clock. Everyone's sleeping.
What lake do you live on again, Andrew? White Lake?
Round Lake.
Oh, Round Lake.
I like that. And see, the cons can be a plus and a minus, I would say, because as an Airbnb, you got to think you don't want a bunch of like on Torch Lake, right? You're probably getting a bunch of like 25-year-olds coming up to just party for the weekend. They're probably gonna do more damage to your place, not be as respectful. So like I'm gonna put that as both a pro and a con. Because if you do have an older demographic, maybe you're not getting nearly as much demand. I mean, you're missing maybe from 20 to 30, 35-year-olds. I mean, you might be missing that complete demographic, which 30-year-olds like to go on vacation too.
And I feel like this is still like a diversified option though, just because you'd rather a lake be quiet instead of loud and you hating it,
Mm.
So I mean, you can make your own party, but you can't really, shut the party up. So I guess there's that.
That's wise words from Andrew McManaman right there. What else? Does anybody else have anything else? All right, well, let's keep going. So we picked out some pros, picked out some cons. It's obviously like a cool area. I mean, there's obviously things to do, like to drink, and to drink. Another bar to drink. So you can drink. That's a positive.
I mean, that's 3 bars in one corner. That's an easy bar crawl right there if I've ever seen one.
Oh, look, it's a safe neighborhood. There's 2 cops.
Now, hey, cops don't mean it's a safe neighborhood. If there's cops hanging around, it usually means it's a bad neighborhood. Don't ask me how I know.
You can tell Will's from Brighton.
Yeah.
Oh my god. That's funny. But so we kind of went through and we picked out kind of our key things. We've taken a look at the area, kind of identified why we might want to invest here, why we wouldn't want to invest here. We could get all into the economics of it and see, our prices going up on houses, how have overall trends look like, is the population going up? I'm not going to dive deep into that because honestly, it's boring in my opinion to do, and I'd rather keep things a little interesting. But if you guys want to touch on it, we definitely can briefly. But this is AirDNA, and basically, if you're not familiar with AirDNA, It's basically Rentometer, but for short-term rentals. Are you guys familiar with Rentometer? Is anybody not familiar with Rentometer? Okay. Good. Well, just making sure. But basically, it just kind of tells you a little bit about the market in terms of, demand, revenue growth, seasonality, regulation, investability, kind of just things like that. You do have to pay for it to get access to the data. I do subscribe for the entire state of Michigan. So if you guys ever are looking at a market and you don't want to pay for the data at first, hit me up. I'll help you out and we can take a look at it together. But you can kind of just see some overall kind of occupancies. So they're thinking it's going to be occupied 67% of the time, which I would say is high for Michigan. Fort Center like averages about 50% occupancy rate. So you're getting definitely a little bit more, like we said, in the winter months. And this is, to me, this is why you want to be in the top 10%, guys. So I always you hear me talk about that, but this visualizes why you want to be in it, because I don't think people realize like how powerful it is, right? Like, look at this. You are literally staying occupied so much more than everybody else. Like, that's average. If you're average, okay, yeah, you're going to book in the summers. Of course, you're going to book in the summers. But look at what you're doing in the winters. You're saying it's going to be, this is saying you're going to be at 100% in October. That's not obviously true. So the data is definitely a little flawed. But look at this. There are people averaging like 50%, 25%. That the thing with AirDNA is their data is not 100% accurate, but it gives you a good indication of what to look at, in my opinion. You just have to take it with a grain of salt, but that's also the same thing with Rentometer. You kind of got to think about that and take it with a grain of salt as well. So, we can see here how many places are showing, but we don't need to get into a whole bunch of depth on that. Actually, let's look at rates. So $200, 211. In my opinion, like 3 to 6 beds is kind of a sweet spot. I try to stay away from 2-bedroom houses. I just don't think you can sleep enough people. But you can kind of get a little bit more of an indication. Revenue. Again, you can just see like how much better it is, right? Like you're going to make an extra 33% on your money if you're in the 75th percentile in July. And that's not even if you're in the top 10%. It's crazy how much, if you can get into the top 10% for Airbnbs, you're going to make so much more money. That's my whole point. And I'll stop smashing the dead horse, or whatever the phrase is, beating the dead horse. So the next thing is, maybe let's just pick a property and kind of plug it into the thing and see what we think. What do you guys want to see? Do you want to see a property that needs no work, or should we look at a property that needs work?
I'll do that $75,000 one. 3-bedroom, 1 bath. So obviously the 1 bath might be a downside to some people, but 3-bedroom, 984 square feet on the smaller side for sure. But you do have your single car garage there if they want to pull their shit in. And it looks like the driveway is good size to where you can fit a truck and a trailer. Almost too wide there if you have toys and shit. Looks like it would need some work. You'd probably ripping out that carpet, probably doing some drywall work. You're definitely going to update that kitchen, newer cabinets. If you're going to go stainless steel appliances, you're doing that as well. So it's not like this one's turnkey by any means, but for a $75,000 purchase price, like you're saying, you might drop 20 or 30 into it, depending on if you're doing the work yourself and what kind of finishes you're doing. That bathroom you'd have to fucking redo.
Dude,
nobody's
the green tub,
pumping into a
man.
green fucking sink or a green tub.
That's a nice green tub. You guys, you're lying to me right now, Michael. You'd keep that in one of your flips, wouldn't you?
No, I fucking wouldn't. I couldn't. Garage is decent size. Obviously, you're clearing that out. The drop ceiling almost tells me like it's insulated up top, which could be beneficial to where you can almost heat that for people. But then you get one person that leaves the garage door open and it brings your fucking bill up like no other. So
what if you, Michael, if you're going to redo this one, how much, let's say you get it for, how long has it been on the market? 30 days. Let's say you get it for 70, just to make math simple. What do you think you're putting into it?
Outside looks fine, assuming roof doesn't need to be touched. Garage is mainly demo work. So you're looking at a dumpster, let's say $1,000. Inside flooring at 900 square feet, that's going to be about $2 or $3,000 laying it yourself. Kitchen cabinets is going to be 2 or 3. Appliances, another 3. I would say if you're doing it yourself, 20. If you're having a contractor, 30. And that's being high. That's going to be some nice fucking tile in that bathroom, a nice white tub instead of that ugly ass green.
What do you have against this green tub?
Hey! I don't know if you have a green tub in your house, but
No, God, no.
Who's in favor of keeping the green tub?
Dude, why green? Just go pink.
Oh, see, he brings up a valid point, Michael. I think we should switch to a pink tub.
Yeah.
I'm
think
just
he's
saying, if
got
we
it.
were to have 2 Airbnb listings up there, one with a green or pink tub and one with a white tub, I guarantee that white tub's going to have a better occupancy rate.
That's not top 10% to have a pink tub.
Hey, not to deter us here, but I'm actually looking at surround kits for my house in Royal Oak, and I was curious if anyone had any good recommendations or has done like paneling over top of an existing shower. Probably pretty comparable to one you showed. I didn't actually see any pictures of it, but
in doing the bathroom, I literally gutted a bathroom just like a week or 2 ago. I was thinking about like just like your plastic paneling over around the tub, and by the time like there's a window in there, I would have to cut it around the window, and it's going to be easier for me to teach myself how to fucking tile and put up tiles if you're thinking about tiling versus like a paneling.
for sure.
I would definitely go tiling. It's really not that hard and looks so much nicer.
Yeah, I'm doing like 2x1 tiles. It's about 70 square foot of tile total. Tile saw from Harbor Freight's 80 fucking bucks. Buy some extra tiles if you're cutting the first few times because you're gonna make fucked up cuts. I would say go with the tile. It's gonna look better.
Yeah, what's that running you total, Mike?
Tub was $200. The tile, everything I bought today, which is your tile, your mortar, premix mortar, your grout, cement board, I'm looking at probably $400.
All together include, or you're saying that plus the tub was 200, so 600?
Yeah, that's a new tub. You can
Word.
refinish your tub if you want. I don't know if you're going to use it, if what the tub condition is. Like I bought spray paint epoxy paint for the tub on the main floor, just to brighten it up a little bit. Obviously, a new tub's going to look a lot better, and your spray paint's not going to come off after a certain amount of time. But changing out a tub is a fucking pain in the ass, let me tell you. Hopefully you have access to like the drain and shit like that.
Yeah, I won't go too down the rabbit hole, but I appreciate the advice.
Dude, that's what this group is about. If you guys want to talk about it, I'm just plugging in some numbers while we sit here.
I'll message you about it, Mike.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, this is my first time doing a tile job, and I have to tile in my personal house a shower, a standalone shower. So I'd rather tile in a rental house that if I fuck up grout lines or fuck up little shit, I don't have to look at it every day. At least to give me some practice. But for how cheap tile is, I think the tile I bought was $1.19 a square foot, and it looks pretty fucking nice. It's cheap enough.
Cool. Yeah, connect after for sure. Yeah, if you guys ever have any questions about doing any handiwork, reach out to Michael. Don't text me because Michael's the professional here. I can lay laminate flooring. That's about the extent of my skills. Or Soup. Soup's clutch too. Soup used to do carpenter with his dad.
Yeah, for 6 years, 6 or 7.
So, yeah, but while we were talking, I just kind of was plugging in some numbers here. Basically, the thing with Airbnbs, guys, when you're underwriting them, you really don't have a lot more expenses. Rather, you're just paying utilities and kind of maintenance and things like that. Like your biggest expense, if you're doing the management yourself, it's gonna be much cheaper. But to be a good manager, you kind of have to have somebody in the area that can go fix or do things very quickly. So for example, I live 2.5 hours away from my Airbnbs, but we have a full-time handyman that we have on salary that, will run over, plow a driveway, lay salt, do kind of that stuff as we get complaints. So it works out really well for me because I don't have to go do it. So you either got to live close, or you got to know somebody that can go do it, or you got to hire a property manager. Typically they take somewhere between like 15 and 25%. So we just assume you're paying someone 25% to manage it, which is brutal, but if you have to, you have to. Lodging tax is just 6%. Property tax, I just put it at 2%. That's probably about right. I don't know what the taxes are. Cleaning fees. Where'd my calculator go? I just assumed 50 cleanings times $70 a pop, or $75 a pop, and I got 4,500, which doesn't make shit sense. So I don't know what I did, but there we go. Maintenance, we're gonna up that a little bit, maybe $100 a month, just spending on fixing random things. Insurance, I just did an insurance policy on a 3-bedroom, 1-bath house. That came out to about $1,200. If you're ever doing an Airbnb, you need a special type of insurance. Don't go get regular house insurance. And because if something happens, you'll just get screwed over. Utilities, I would say somewhere between like 150 to $200 a month for everything. Unless you have electric heat. Electric heat is expensive. Home furnishings, you're probably going to spend 10 grand unless you're buying used stuff and you can find it cheaper. Home improvements, we kind of talked about that. You're buying it at 70, putting 25 in. I put 5 grand for closing costs. But you can kind of see, really your biggest expense is the management. Airbnbs become very profitable if you can manage it yourself. And if we just do a simple mortgage calculator, 70,000. Well, we're not even getting 70,000. What is that? 14 grand. So 56,000 we're getting a loan for. Let's call it a 5% interest rate. I mean, we're paying $300 a month. If we get a 30-year, $400 a month, we'll call it. So 5 grand a year for our mortgage. Our net operating income is coming out to about, what is that? $27,000 a year, or not 12. So we're making about $2,200 a month without a management fee. With a management fee, you can tell our profit goes down a ton. But you also don't have to do anything. That's also another thing to keep in mind. So what type of person are you? Or we're looking at about $1,750 a month. So you basically lose $500 a month if you want to hire a management out. Which I don't know, depends on your time and what you value your time at. So, I mean, when we look at this, the numbers look decent. We can see our comps down here. So, I mean, I would say you definitely have some potential. Like so looking at these comps right away, I would probably say we're overestimating our revenue a little bit, in my opinion. But let's see what they get in the summer. $400 a night. That's so cheap for a lakefront home.
Yeah, I mean, with being off lake, looking at lakefront homes, it's hard to guess your rate. That's where you have to give them. That's where the bigger house would be more beneficial. Instead of a 3-bedroom, if you're looking at a 4-bedroom and you can get it up to 10 or 12 guests, you're putting yourself above an 8-guest house on the lake.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. And here might be a good comparable. So, I mean, that's one thing to keep in mind is the data, and the reason data is not very good for Airbnbs, especially with AirDNA, why you have to take AirDNA with a grain of salt, is it can't tell the difference between a host blocking out their calendar for just, dates that they want to use or like actual bookings. So that's why the data is kind of flawed, I would say, in a sense. It can't tell the difference between that. So that's my personal opinion. Looking at this now, like I would say you're probably overestimating on the $44,000 mark. I would say maybe like $35,000 a year would be a little bit more accurate. In which case, we can kind of start to see that, maybe the returns aren't as good as we were thinking, and there's not as much money there as we thought. But I've also had AirDNA underestimate one of my properties. It says we could do $35,000 a year, and we pushed 50 grand on it. I don't mean that as a flex. It's just, it kind of shows you that data is not always right, in my opinion. So yeah, that says 35,000, but we pushed 50 on it. So that's something. Just take the data from Airbnbs with a grain of salt. What else? Who else has some thoughts on this market? Would you invest? Why wouldn't you invest? What are your guys' thoughts?
I don't know if I would go there just because I wasn't a huge fan of the area when I went. It's nothing like the numbers don't bother me too much, even though they're not super high for profits. I just don't see it really beating out the other lakes right around it.
That's a fair point. Who else? Come on, Connor. I can see your wheels turning over there. Give us something.
Well, if we could find the right property, maybe see if we can add some bedrooms to it. I would be game to invest over there. Maybe something a little farther from the lake.
Is this lakefront? There you go. There's your 200 grand for that. Wow, for a lakefront.
5-bedroom, 4-bath. Holy fuck.
What's wrong with it?
I don't know. I think
It's the green carpet.
Sorrento probably thinks we should keep the carpet.
No, green carpet just needs to be torn up and burnt.
It's just outdated.
Oh,
and
that's
the fact that your bed is
Wow.
you rest your head on the pillow and the wall.
Is that the master?
You just have to list it as neck support.
Holy shit.
Oh my.
Okay, no, that explains why
Yeah.
there's so many bedrooms and bathrooms. They literally have them thrown in everywhere.
Oh my gosh.
It's like all closets. It's like, let's just put
Is
a
that a
bathroom in
second
the
kitchen, though?
closet.
Is this a duplex? Hey, is anybody looking for a house hack?
I think you need to go back to the description because something's not added up there.
Upper level is 2-bedroom, 1.5 bath, full kitchen. Ground level. Is it a 3?
It's a triplex.
What the fuck? What's AirDNA got for that?
I don't even want to know.
That's just fucking weird. I mean, it's got potential. What was the address on that? 204 Broadway.
That's the right address, I think, right? Yeah. 3.5. We're definitely only sleeping like 12 people, probably.
I don't know, if you stack people in there like they did the bedrooms, you can fit like 30.
Yeah.
See, that's where you'd have to go into this one and you're tearing out walls. You're making it one massive place, or not massive, but you don't need 2 fucking kitchens. You don't need bedrooms up in your attic.
Wait, is it
You make it
even?
into one big unit.
Oh, are those the different units? Or is it all?
I'm so confused.
No, I think that building is the main thing.
There's 2 houses in front of it, so it doesn't even have.
Yeah.
It's not even actual. You have to walk through someone's yard.
Is there an easement there? Maybe is it like shared?
There probably
It
is.
could be, yeah.
Wow. Listen, I'm not saying we should do this, but I'm just saying $50,000 offer cash. Listen, all right. How many of us are in the call right now? 7.
Yeah, we each bring
Yeah.
like $5,000.
Listen, we bring 5,000. Everybody except for Michael. Everybody brings cash except for Michael. Michael, you go spend a week up there. You fix everything. Don't even tell us about it. Just fix it.
Bro, a week couldn't fix you're not gonna walls in a fucking week. That small little bathroom is gonna take a fucking week.
Oh god.
What a screwed up property. I bet you though. Okay. Here's my thinking. Right. So there's 3 kitchens in this place. Right. Upstairs, knock out as many walls as you can. Make this a super cool hangout place with maybe like 1 bedroom. Get rid of this kitchen up here. Right. Make it a cool hangout space up here. Okay. I guess keep the half bath because I don't like what do you right? I don't know. I guess keep it.
Definitely take the carpet out of the half bath though. Just a thought.
Yeah. Get rid of this bath too. I don't even know why that's there. Okay. Figure out which kitchen you're gonna keep, and then make the downstairs turn it into 4 or 5 bedrooms downstairs. Make the upstairs the hangout place. Have a couple nice baths, and have your 1 kitchen downstairs. Turn a kitchen into another bedroom or something. I don't know.
Bunk beds are us in the basement.
Yep. Andrew will crawl the crawl space because we're hiring him as the realtor, so he can go in the crawl space.
I would just put laminate flooring, just get rid of the golfing green and call it a day.
The golfing green.
Sell it for $300.
I mean, you're losing out on an indoor putt-putt thing there.
Come
on.
I didn't even see any of the holes.